So we will start in constructive rest on our backs. Step your feet to the outer edges of your mat or just as wide as feels good to you. Come down onto your back. Give a second, let your shoulder blades get nice and arranged and your hair is in a good position. Let your knees drop in towards each other and let your arms just come out at your sides, wherever feels the most comfortable. And then right away, as you start to settle in, ignoring for a moment your physical body and all of that good stuff, notice how you're feeling emotionally right now, or this morning, or just in general in the last couple of hours. How are you feeling emotionally? And there's no right or wrong, but something came up last night in class, and sometimes you show up to your mat with feelings, maybe good feelings, bad feelings, whatever the case may be, but sometimes you come to your mat with some feelings. So if you've got anything going on, take a moment to notice it, acknowledge it. And then anything that requires your attention throughout your entire practice, let it be there. But if there's anything that you can set aside or set down for a moment, knowing that it'll all be there when you're done with your practice, take a second to just observe what you've got going on personally, set down what you can, or hold on what you need to. And then once you've acknowledged your emotional state this morning, take a nice deep breath in. Just let your lungs fill up with air. And then as you exhale, let your ribs, your chest, and your shoulders get nice and heavy into the ground. Inhale a nice full breath, fill the lungs up. So we want to draw the breath deep to the bottom of the lungs, then fill up middle lungs all the way up to the tops of the lungs, filling up with air. And then when you feel ready, exhale, but let your ribs, your chest, and your shoulders get soft and heavy. One more breath like that, just a big giant breath, bottom of the lungs, middle of the lungs, all the way up to the tops of the lungs. And then exhale, soften your shoulders, soften your ribs, soften your chest. Cool. And then from here, we're going to take our arms into our I Dream of Genie arms with that nice square across the chest. We're going to create a little bit of movement just in that upper body and in the thoracic spine. So as we gently pull the elbows side to side, what we're hoping to do is create just a little movement in space through the back of the body. So the places you might not notice, because it feels like most of the stuff is happening in the front of your body. But as you pull your elbows side to side, can you tune in to the shoulder blades, the muscles that run in the in-between space, that are in between the shoulder blades alongside the spine? And then maybe the muscles that run curving around to the armpit chest. So if you can just tune in and notice the muscles and the movement that's happening through the back of the body. The front of the body feels pretty free. Take one more rock of those elbows side to side, and then bring your arms back down into anatomical position or whatever comfortable position you had them in. And now we're going to come back to the breath, but we're going to take it into some box breathing. So in box breathing, you inhale for a count of 4, you retain the breath for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, retain your exhale for a count of 4. So I'll start off the count and then you'll do a couple of rounds just with your own count or your own breath rhythm. And then we'll come back to a stillness. So take that inhale, inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain your inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain your exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain your exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come back to your inhale and then just take a few rounds of breath here, just finding your count and your breath's rhythm. Take one more cycle through that 4-part breath or that box breathing, or finish up the cycle that you're in. And then once you feel like you've completed that cycle of breath, come back to a natural rhythm of breath. Bring your arms up into cactus or goalpost arms and just start to rock your head gently side to side. Take a moment to tune in here. Notice your shoulders, notice your upper back, notice your head and your neck. One more rock of the head side to side, and then we're going to add the knees as well. So as your head turns in one direction, knees are going to drop in the opposite direction. Everything meets in the center, and then over to the other side. Start with a small range of motion with your knees, and then as you start to increase a little warmth or gumminess in the hips, then increase your range of motion so it goes in a nice fluid way, and you're not yanking against your muscles here. One more windshield wiper each side, and then let your knees drop over to the right. Let your head turn to the left. Let your knees get nice and heavy. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, bring everything to center. Let your knees drop over to the left. Let your head turn to the right. Stay there for an extra cycle of breath. And then on your next inhale, bringing the knees to center, head to center, and then walk your feet in a little bit closer. So feet are about hip width distance apart, hands down alongside the hips. We're going to take it into some rolling bridges with some knee pulls. So as you inhale, roll your tailbone up just about one hand high. So you could slide one hand underneath your butt, lower back down, pull both knees into your chest. Give a light little squeeze and then release. Feet to the ground, hands down. Inhale, lift your tailbone up now about 2 hands high. So coming just a little higher. Exhale to lower down, pull your knees into your chest. Exhale as you squeeze. Release your feet back down to the ground, hands down. Inhale, rolling up about 3 hands high. Exhale to lower. Inhale, pull your knees into your chest. Exhale, give a light squeeze. Release your feet back down to the ground. Inhale, lift your tailbone up now about 4 hands high. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, knees lift. Exhale, give a little squeeze. Feet to the ground, hands down. Inhale, now we're going to roll up as high as feels comfortable to you. And then once you're up, hold there. See if you can kind of rearrange your shoulder blades so you're coming a little higher up onto the shoulder head, so shoulder blades kind of hug in towards each other. And then find a nice energetic reach through the fingertips. Press the backs of your arms into the ground. reach your knees towards your toes. So we just want to see if we can experience finding a little length through the tops of the thighs and through the front of the hips. And then once you feel like you've found all of that energy there, a tiny lift of your chin, take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then when you're ready, slowly start to roll down spine. Think upper back, middle back, low back. Hips touch the ground and then pull both knees up into your chest, a light little squeeze. And then we're going to move into some wind relieving pose. So right knee into the chest, left leg is going to extend nice and long. Inhale as you switch, exhale as you pull the left knee in. Inhale as you switch, and see if you can keep those heels hovering down at the end of your mat. And then if you want just that little bit more of energetic work or work in the core, pull the abdominal muscles down towards the spine, lift your chest and chin, and keep that lifted position as you alternate those knee pulls. Beautiful. Take one more time each side, or even yourself out. And then pull both knees back into the chest. Lift your head, so bring nose towards your knees. Get that little rounding through the body. And then when you're ready, release your head down, release your feet back down. Take a second, rearrange anything that you need to. And now we're going to just bring a little length to the backs of the legs. So pick up your right leg, make a light little basket weave so you can just hold on. Inhale, lift your foot up, flex your foot, point your foot, neutral foot, bend and bring it in. Reach your heel up, flex your foot, point your foot, neutral foot, bend and bring it in. One more on this side. Reach your heel up, flex your foot, point your foot, neutral foot, bend and bring it in. Release that leg down, take it to the other side. Grab hold of the back of that left thigh, light basket weave here, lift your heel up, flex your foot, point your foot, neutral foot, bend and bring it in. Reach your heel up, flex, point, neutral, bend and bring it in. Nice. One more time. Heel up, flex your foot, point your foot, neutral foot, bend and bring it in. Bring the right knee into meet. So both knees are going to come into the chest. We're going to grab the backs of the thighs, take a few good rocks and rolls, and then start to rock and roll your way up to a seated ragdoll position. So legs are going to be out in front of you with a nice wide position and a super generous bend in the knees. Once you found your way there, right into a fold. Just reach down toward your toes. Rearrange yourself so there's plenty of space for your belly and chest to rest. Let your head soften, let the back of your neck soften. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. 2 more cycles of breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, slowly and mindfully start to walk yourself up. And now we're going to take it into Bhatakanasana or Cobbler's pose. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. And then whatever distance of your diamond shape of your legs works good for you. Heels close or heels far away, totally up to you. But just make sure that there's no shooting pain in the knees to start. And then think lifting up and over. So think belly up, chest up. And then as you exhale, lean your heart forward just a little bit. Don't go fully to your edge, but just to the point where you maybe feel a little sensation inner thigh and groin or outer edge of your hip. And then once you've found a little sensation, take a nice deep breath in and think about lengthening through the crown of your head. And then exhale, soften just a little bit further into it. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way back up. Grab the outsides of your thighs. Help your knees come together. We're going to swing those legs around and right away find your way into a tabletop position or come to all fours. And then as you come to all fours, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. First, we're going to find a nice long spine. So lengthen through the crown of your head. Imagine you're reaching the crown of your head towards the top of your mat, tailbone towards the end of your mat. And then once you feel like you found that long spine, just gazing down at the floor, that space between your thumbs, take a big conscious breath. We're going to take an inhale, and then we're going to do that nice Uddiyana Bandha, or that vacuum sucking of the belly. So inhale a nice big breath. Exhale at the end of your exhale with all of that air out. Pull the abdominal muscles in or suck the abdomen in. Hold it for a moment, nice and strong. And then when you're ready, release. And then inhale, fill up with air. Exhale. At the end of the exhale, suck the abdominal muscles in, hold for a moment, and then when you're ready, release the abdominal muscles and then take your inhale. Exhale. At the end of the exhale, suck it in, hold for a moment, and then when you're ready, release the abdominal muscles, take your inhale, and then from here, move right into a cat-cow breath. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale to round your back. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale to round. Take a few more cycles of breath, just moving with your breath's rhythm, moving at a pace that works good for you. Take one more cycle of breath. And then once you've completed that cycle of breath with a neutral spine, slide your right leg back, toes curled under, take a few rocks forward and back, just to create a little bit of gumminess in the Achilles heel, a little length in the calf. Nice. And then keeping that leg out nice and long, but let that rocking come to stillness. We're going to slide that right leg over to the left. So think crisscrossing behind the back of your mat. Slide it just as far as feels good, and then hug your left shoulder towards your left hip. So we're making that little C-spine, squeezing in at the left side body. Look over your left shoulder towards your right toe. Take a nice big breath. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, release that C-spine, slide that leg all the way back into your tabletop position and switch over to the left. So left leg slides back, toes curled under, rock yourself forward and back. Beautiful. One more rock forward and back. And then as your shoulders come in line with the wrists, slide your left leg over to the right, hug in at the right side body. So squeeze that right shoulder towards the right hip, look over your shoulder towards your toe, take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, slide that leg back into your tabletop position, both sets of toes curled under, pull your butt back towards your heels. Inhale, come forward and let your shoulders come slightly past your wrist. Draw your butt back towards your heels. Come forward, shoulders slightly past the wrist. Nice. Next time you pull your butt back to your heels, stay here for an extra cycle of breath. And then on your next inhale, lift up, release your toes. We're going to start to find our way down onto our belly, starting with a Sphinx pose. So if you like, bring elbows and forearms down, elbows in line with the shoulders, step your feet to the back edge of your mat, take it through a low plank, pause in that plank for a moment just to find a little strength through the front of the body and the back of the body. And then once you feel like you're ready to release it, bring your knees down, let your toes go, let your hips touch down, hug your shoulder blades in towards each other as you energetically pull the elbows back. So we get that little squeeze or compression through the spine and the back of the body, pressing up through the crown of your head. From here, we're going to soften just a little bit in the back of the neck so we can take 3 gentle nods of the head. So tuck your chin down just slightly. Inhale, lift your chin just slightly. Tuck your chin down. Lift your chin up. One more here, tuck your chin down. Lift your chin up, and then bring your head back to that sort of neutral position. And now we're going to soften the elbows just a little bit so we can lower ourselves down. We're going to come back to that Sphinx shape, but we're going to just soften so that we can create some space. Now we're going to draw the right knee up. So think tree or frog pose, whichever you like. So you might choose to keep your heel in line with your knee or the heel in a little bit. That's just whatever feels more comfortable in your body. And then once you've got that leg in position, lift your torso back into that Sphinx position. So elbows in line with the shoulders, with the right leg out in that tree or that frog pose. And then see here, can you relax your glute muscles? Can you relax around your hips? Soften your inner thighs. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. 2 more cycles of breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, slowly walk those elbows out just to soften that upper body position. Slide the right leg back, give your butt a little wiggle, give your heels a little wiggle, and then we're going to take it to the other side. So left leg is going to slide up into that tree or that frog position, just whatever feels more comfortable. Once you've got your leg in place, lift back up into that Sphinx position with the upper body. And then see here, can you soften your glutes, soften your inner thighs, finding as much softness down in the bottom half of the body as you can. Take one more breath. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, soften your elbow position so that you can slide that left leg back. Both legs are going to be nice and long. Give your bum a little wiggle, give your heels a little wiggle. And then as you come back up into that Sphinx position, so elbows are going to come back in line with the shoulders. Now we're going to get super active here with the, think solar plexus and belly button. So as you anchor into your arms, you're going to pull the belly button up. So we want to lift the belly away from the floor, engaging through the front of the body, and then relax it back down. Pull the abdomen up, finding that strength through your center. So we're lifting the belly button up away from the floor. Beautiful. And then release your belly down. One more just like that. Pull the abdomen up, strong through the back of the body, strong in the shoulders. Nice. And then release it down nice and slow. And then we're going to walk the elbows wide and just stack your hands here. Let your forehead rest. Take 3 nice deep breaths without doing any effort. Relax your glutes, relax your back. Take one more breath. And now we're going to stay in this belly down position for one more cycle of moves. To lift your forehead away from your hands, can you reach your hands back and touch the small of your back or the low back area? And then once you've got your way into that position, now we're going to think Cobra pose, but we're going to use our arms and our legs as well. So our hands are going to come back to this anchored position. As you inhale, you're going to lift your left leg and your right hand is going to reach out and lift. Beautiful. As you exhale, lower back down, bring that hand back to the small of your back. And now we're going to switch sides. Left hand, right leg are going to reach and lift. And then release that hand back to the small of your back. Beautiful. Back to that right hand, left leg. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you release. Back over to that left hand, right leg. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you release. Beautiful. One more time each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Last side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Nice. Bring your hands down alongside your shoulders. Push your way up into a tabletop position. Big toes together, knees to the outer edges of your mat. Come to extended child's pose. Pull your butt back to your heels. Take a second here to just let your hips get nice and happy. Find some space. Let your belly, your chest, and your forehead melt down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. One more breath. And then when you're ready, start to lift your butt away from your heels, coming through your tabletop position. So walk your knees in, curl your toes under, pull your butt back to your heels. And now we're going to lift into our down dog from here. So get that little tiny stretch to the toes. And then when you're ready, lift your knees up, lift your butt up, push through your heels, let your heart melt towards your thighs. And then here, if it feels good, take a few pedals of the legs, bend one knee and press into the opposite heel. Awesome. Take 1 or 2 more pedals of the legs. And then when you're ready, look forward. We're going to walk up to a folded ragdoll at the top of the mat. So walk your feet forward, feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, a nice wide space so that there's plenty of space for the belly, plenty of space for the chest. And then just let your head dangle here. Let your arms be heavy or catch your elbows, whatever feels better to you. Take one more breath. And then let your fingertips find the floor, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position. Take your time as you come up. And then as you come up to standing, just give a second, get yourself all situated at the top of your mat, and then find your mountain pose. Toes and knees pointing fairly forward, feet about hip width distance apart, hands down at your sides. We're gonna move right to the feet and the heels. So as you inhale, lift your heels up away from the floor. Exhale, lower your heels back down. Inhale and lift your heels up. Exhale to lower down. One more here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. And now we're going to take it up to the shoulder and the neck. So as you inhale, shoulders are going to lift, give that little squeeze, maybe even scrunch up your face. As you exhale, shoulders drop down, head turns to the right. Inhale, head to center, shoulders lift. Exhale, shoulders drop down, head turns to the left. Inhale, head to center, shoulders lift. Exhale, shoulders drop down, head turns to the right. Inhale, head to center, shoulders lift. Exhale, shoulders down, head turns to the left. Beautiful. One more time each side. Inhale as you bring it back to center, lift and squeeze. Exhale, shoulders drop down, turn your head. Inhale, bring it to center. Exhale, turn to the left. Inhale, bring it back to center, give that one last squeeze, and then let your shoulders soften down, reach energy down through your fingertips, lift energy up from the soles of your feet. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold, keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. This time we're going to roll up through the spine. So as you exhale, soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll all the way up to standing, roll your shoulders around, down and back. And now we're going to step the right leg across the left. So a little crisscross of the feet, lining up your pinky toes as best you can. And then we're just going to come to about a halfway point. So start to walk yourself down right about to your knees or maybe like the tops of your shins. So we just want to start to tune in and notice. So we're making a bit of an L shape or a 7 shape with the body. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Walk your hands back up your thigh, come up nice and slow, uncross your legs, and then switch the cross to the other side. And we will come back to this and go deeper, but just for now, we're taking that halfway point. So crisscross your left across the right, line up your pinky toes best you can. And then once you're there, walk yourself down to just that halfway point. So maybe tops of the thighs or tops of the knees. Reaching nice and long through the crown of your head, take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, walk your hands back up. Uncross your legs, come back to your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold, knees bent or straight, just whatever feels better to you here. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back. We're going to come to warrior one. Drop the back heel down, turn the toes out, but keep your hips facing forward. Inhale, lift your arms up. Notice the stability in your legs. So if you ever feel unstable in your warrior one, the option here that might be more stable is to just widen your stance a little bit. So you might step your feet out just a little bit wider. But if all is feeling good, sink just a little bit deeper into that front thigh. Take one big breath as you look up. And then as you exhale, hands are just going to find the ground as you pivot your back heel. So we come into a bit of a lunge, plant your palms, step back to plank. Right away, bring the knees down, rotate the eyes of your elbows, hug your elbows into your ribs, lower onto your belly. One low cobra here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Push your way up to tabletop position. Curl the toes under, pull your butt all the way back to your heels. So get a little stretch to the toes and the bottoms of the feet. And then when you're ready, lift up into your downward facing dog. Peel your knees up, lift your butt up, press into your heels. Heart melts towards the thighs. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Look forward. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale, lift your arms up. Check your stance just to make sure it feels like a nice stable position. And then once you feel like you're there, sink just a little bit deeper into that front thigh. Gaze up, take a nice big breath. Awesome. Hands are going to find the ground. Pivot that back heel so we find our way into a little runner's lunge. And then when you're ready, plant your palms, step back to plank. Right away, bring the knees down, rotate the eyes of the elbows, hug elbows into ribs, lower with control. Inhale up, one low cobra. Exhale, lower down. Push your way up into a tabletop position. Curl the toes under, pull the butt all the way back to the heels, take a breath. And then when you're ready, peel your knees away from the floor, lift up into your downward facing dog, press the heels down, heart melts towards the thighs. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale, soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Pause here just for a moment. You're going to shift your weight slightly onto your left foot, and you're just going to pick the bottom of your right foot up off the ground. So almost as if nothing else changes, but just the bottom of your foot is now hovering above the ground. Take one good breath. And then when you're ready, release your foot down, shift your weight into that right foot, pick your left foot up. So it's barely just hovering off the ground. So there's not a lot of big shift of movement. And then when you're ready, release that foot down, both feet on the ground. Nice. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Step the right leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale, arms up. Sink a little deeper into that front thigh as you lift your gaze. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to straighten the front leg. Hands are going to come behind the back, either prayer hands or catch hold of your elbows or any other grab behind you that feels good. And then just make sure that your stance feels nice and stable. Readjust anything that you need to. Hinge from your waist. We're going to come to that halfway fold mark. So lean your heart forward just to that halfway point. Pause, take a breath, and then reach up through the crown of your head. Lift yourself back up. Release your hands, bend the front knee, lift through your warrior one. Pivot your back heel or as you float through a crescent lunge. So we're going to pick that heel up and now release your hands down to the ground. Frame your front foot. We're going to take 3 bends and straightens of that front leg. You don't need to straighten it all the way. We just want to create a little bit of length through the back of the leg. Beautiful. Now the next time you come through that lunge, plant your palms, step back to plank, lower your knees, rotate the eyes of the elbows, hug elbows into ribs, lower with control. Inhale up to cobra just as high as you like. Exhale to lower down. Push your way up to tabletop position, curl your toes under, pull your butt back towards your heels. When you're ready, peel it up, lift up into your downward facing dog, push your heels down, heart melts towards the thighs. Beautiful, look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of the mat, come to your forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down. Left leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel down, turn the toes out, lift your arms up. Make sure your stance feels nice and stable. Sink a little deeper into that front thigh, lift your gaze. Beautiful, and then straighten that front leg. Hands are gonna come behind the back. Prayer hands, or just catch hold of your elbows or whatever grab works for you. Square up those hips, hinge from your waist, lean the heart forward to that halfway point, reach through the crown of your head, take one good breath. Beautiful, and then lift up through the crown of your head. Bend that front knee, release your arms, reaching through that warrior one and then into a crescent lunge. So we pick that back heel up and let it pivot. Nice, strong legs, beautiful. Lower your hands down, frame your front foot, 3 bends and straightens of that front leg. Be gentle on yourself. No need to go super straight so you're yanking against the hamstring. We just want to create a little gumminess in the back of the leg. Lovely. And then next time you bend that knee, find your run, find your runner's lunge, plant your palms, step back to plank, lower your knees, rotate the eyes of the elbows, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to cobra just as high as you like. Exhale to lower down. Push your way up through a table, curl the toes under, pull your butt back to your heels. When you feel ready, peel it up to your downward facing dog. Lift your hips, press into your heels, heart melts towards the thighs. Beautiful. Look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Take that left leg, step it across the right, crisscross your feet, line up your pinky toes, walk down your thigh, maybe come down to the shin this time. So maybe just go just a little bit deeper, softening a little bit through the back of the body. Take a nice big breath. Walk your hands back up, nice and slow and controlled. Uncross your legs, take it over to the other side. Right leg crosses over the left, line up your pinky toes best you can. And then once you're there, walk down the thigh, maybe pass the knee towards the shin. Soften through the back of the body, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, come up nice and slow. Uncross your legs, back to your mountain pose. Nice and firm through the feet, lifting up through the top of your head. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Step the right leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale, arms up. Beautiful. Hands behind the back. Prayer hands or catch your elbows. Straighten the front leg. Hinge from your waist. Lean your heart forward. Lift up through the crown of your head. Release your hands, bend that front knee. Come through to your crescent lunge. So we're going to pick that back heel up. Let the heel hover, sink just a little bit deeper into that lunge. So now we feel that strength in our legs. And then from here, we're going to open up into a warrior two. So we're going to let the back heel drop down and rotate as we rotate the hips out to the side. Arms extend out from the shoulders. Beautiful. From here, straighten that front leg. Bend that front knee back. Nice. Two more just like that. Straighten the front leg. Bend the front knee. One more time. Straighten that front leg. Bend that front knee. Awesome. And now we're going to cartwheel the hands down to the ground. Pivot on your back heel. Come into your runner's lunge. Plant your palms. Step back to plank. This time you can lower in chaturanga if it's in your practice, or bring the knees down. Rotate the eyes of the elbows. Inhale up to a cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Awesome. Look forward. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Come to forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down. Left leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale, arms up. Beautiful. Hands behind the back, prayer hands or catch your elbows. Straighten the front leg, hinge from your waist, lean your heart forward. Beautiful. Lift up through the crown of your head. Nice long spine as you come up. Release your hands, bend that front knee, floating through that warrior one. And then take it into your crescent lunge. We pick up that back heel, nice and strong. Beautiful. And then open up into your warrior two. Pivot that back heel, hips rotate out to the side, arms extend out from the shoulders. 3 straightens of that front leg. Straighten it, bend and bring it back down. Straighten the front leg, bend and bring it back down. Straighten the front leg, bend and bring it back down. And now cartwheel your hands down to the ground, pivot that back heel so you come through your runner's lunge. Beautiful. Plant the palms, step back to plank, lower in chaturanga or lower in any way that you like best. Inhaling up to cobra, exhaling up to down dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale, soften back into your fold. Tent your fingers or just have nice tall hands. So fingertips on the floor, and then shift your weight onto your left foot. Pick your right toes up and see if you can just tap your right toes to your right wrist. Set that foot down. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Can you pick up your left foot, tap your left toes to your left wrist, and then set it down? Nice. Bend both knees. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Roll up to standing nice and slow and controlled. Roll your shoulders down and back. Step your left leg across the right, crisscross, pinky toes line up. And now from here, you're gonna walk down to your edge. So start to walk down the thigh. You might choose to stay there. Maybe you come to the shins, or maybe you reach all the way down towards the toes or towards the floor. Once you found a position that feels nice to your body, soften. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. One more breath. Wonderful. Soften your knees just a little bit. Pull the abdominal muscles in so it's strong from your navel center as you come up. And then once you're up, uncross your legs, take it right over to the other side. Cross your right over the left, line up your pinky toes, and then start to walk down to your depth. So you might choose to stay at the thigh, maybe the shins, maybe the toes, or maybe the floor, whatever feels good. Beautiful. When you're ready, soften your knees, strong from your abdominal center, lift up nice and slow and controlled, uncross your legs, find your mountain pose again. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down, right leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, hips facing forward. Inhale, arms up. Hands behind the back, prayer hands or catch your elbows. Straighten the front leg. Hinge from your waist, lean your heart forward just to that halfway point. Beautiful. Lift up through the crown of your head. Bend that front knee, release your arms, pick up that back heel so we find our crescent lunge here, and then open up into warrior two. Rotate the heel, rotate your hips. Beautiful. Now we're going to take it into triangle pose. So we're going to straighten that front leg, pop that back hip out, reach long through the torso. So you might land at the thigh, the knee, the shin, or the floor, or your yoga block. And then we're going to think about leveraging against whatever you're using, pulling those bottom ribs forward so the top ribs are reaching up towards the sky. Right hand reaches up. Maybe you turn your head and look up. But if turning the head doesn't feel stable, maybe you gaze forward or down at the ground. So just make sure your head is in a comfortable position. Nice, strong legs. Take one more breath. Strong legs, strong side body. Lift all the way on up. Reverse your triangle. Drop the back hand, reach the top hand up. And now we're going to spin those hands down to the ground, bending the front knee. So we're going to come into a runner's lunge. Beautiful. Plant your palms, step back to plank. Lower down in any way that feels good to you. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale, soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Just pick your right foot up off the ground so it hovers. Release that foot down. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Pick your left foot up just so that it hovers. Release that foot down. Let your hands come back down at your sides. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down. Left leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out. Inhale, lift your arms up. Hands behind the back, prayer hands or catch your elbows, whatever grab works. Straighten that front leg, hip hinge, lean your heart forward just to that halfway point. Inhale, lift up through the crown of your head. Release your arms, bend that front knee, float through your warrior one into your crescent lunge. So we pick up that back heel and let it pivot. And then when you're ready, rotate out to the side, open up into your warrior two. Wonderful. From here into triangle pose, straighten that front leg, pop the back out, keep long through the torso. So maybe you land at the thigh, the shin, the big toe, the floor, or your yoga block. And then see if you can just think about pulling those bottom ribs forward, top ribs reaching up to the sky, left hand reaching up nice and high. Maybe your head turns up or straight or down to the ground, whatever feels more stable there. Strong legs, strong side body. Lift up and then reverse your triangle. Drop the back hand, reach the front hand up. Beautiful. Spin it down to the ground. Bend that front knee, pivot your back heel, come through your lunge. Plant your palms, step back to plank. Lower onto your belly in any way that you like best. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Beautiful. From here, pick up your heels, lower your knees, come into your tabletop position. Big toes together, knees to the outer edges of your mat. Pull your butt back towards your heels, but keep the torso slightly lifted. We're going to take that crisscross arm. So right hand is going to thread across, but we're going to keep the spine straight. So rearrange that right arm so it has plenty of space, and then drop the chest down, forehead down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Wonderful. When you're ready, we're going to lift up and release so that we can take it right to the other side. So right hand is going to extend out, left hand is going to thread through, but we're keeping the spine straight. So we're working that crisscross arm, chest drops down, forehead melts down. Come back to your breath. Nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Cool. When you're ready, press into your right arm, lift up slightly, unthread that arm, and then take that child's pose official, butt back to the heels, chest up and down, forehead up and down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. When you're ready, slowly start to lift yourself up and out of that extended child's pose. Spin your legs out to one side so that you can sit back onto your butt and just send your legs out in front of you nice and long. Keep a soft micro bend in the knees. Take a big breath up and over. Exhale, reach towards your feet. And then if you can catch hold of your feet, awesome. Get a little handhold. If you can't, no worries. Just get a handhold that works good for you. And then once you've got a handhold, think about lifting through the front of the body. So you almost want to kind of pull the ribs up and wiggle them around so you got plenty of space. And then once you feel like you found a little extra space through the front of your body, can you soften back into it? Soften your nose towards your knees. Lovely. When you're ready, lift up through the top of your head. Let your heart follow. Come up nice and slow. We're just going to push into the floor, scoot your hips forward, curl your tailbone under, but we're going to lower with control. So think about rolling that tailbone under, pulling the abdominal muscles in, and then start to lower your spine onto the ground. Think one vertebrae at a time. So you might hit a tipping point where your body wants to drop into the floor, but can you control all the way past that point? Nice. And then once your back finds the ground, give a second. Let your shoulder blades find a happy place. Wiggle out your tailbone. Give your spine a second. Let all those nerve endings stop firing. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. From here, we're going to move into supine twist with that little add-on of cat pulling its tail. If you don't like cat pulling its tail, you can always leave that part off and just go for the spinal twist. I'm going to twist to the left to start just so you can see my bottom foot, but you can choose to go to the right if that feels like a better way to go. If you're turning to the left with me, pull the right knee into your chest, extend your left leg nice and long. And now we're going to take that right knee over and across the body, finding the supine twist first. So let your arm extend out, let your knee get nice and heavy. And then once you feel like you're there, if it feels beneficial, you're going to bend your left leg, reach your right hand down, see if you can catch hold at the top of the foot, and then draw yourself just a little bit deeper into that twist. Maybe your head turns to the right if that feels good. If that cat pulling its tail, holding onto that left foot doesn't feel beneficial, leave that part off. But if you can stay here for 2 more cycles of breath. Wonderful. If you're holding onto that left foot, go ahead and release it nice and slow. Gently pull that right knee into your chest, pull the left knee into me, and now we're going to switch to the other side. So hold on to your left knee, right leg is going to extend nice and long. Take that left knee over and across the body. Find your supine twist first, and then you might choose to just stay there. That might be more than enough. If it feels good and you want that little extra cat pulling its tail, you're going to bend the right leg, reach your left hand down, see if you can catch hold of the top of the foot, and then soften or sink just a little deeper into that twist. Left shoulder anchors down, head turns to the left. Take one more breath. If you're holding onto the right foot, go ahead and release it. Pull the left knee back into your chest. Bring the right knee into me, and we're going to move right into happy baby. So we're going to take those knees nice and wide towards the shoulders. You might already be happy here. This might be enough. If this feels good, but you want to go a little further, you might choose to lift your hips up and grab the backs of your thighs, or maybe the blade edge of your feet, or your big toes, or your insteps. Just really whatever handhold works good for you. We want to create a little space for the hips, and then think about letting your knees get heavy. Soften your shoulders down, soften your tailbone down, take a breath. And then if it feels good to do so, add a little organic movement here. So you might choose to just take some gentle rocking. You might choose to move your legs a little bit, move your feet a little bit, any little bit of movement here that feels good. Feel free to play around and find and explore ways that you can move in this position that feel nice. Lovely. Take one more little movement, side to side, or whatever movement you've got going on, and then bring it back to a stillness. Let your knees get heavy, let your tailbone get heavy, let your shoulders get heavy. And then we're going to move on to a single leg up the wall. So we're going to reach the right leg up to the sky as we float the left foot down to the ground. Left leg is going to be in a bent knee position just so it has a nice firm grounding. And then once you've got that right leg up to the sky, we're going to give it a nice gentle shake. Allowing a looseness in the foot and the ankle, seeing if you can engage a little looseness in the muscle tissue itself. And then as you find that little bit of shake in the legs, see if you can notice that vibration in your breath. Take one more good shake of that leg. And then when you're ready, we're going to switch. So right foot's going to float down, left leg is going to reach up. And once you've got yourself settled there, give that left leg a nice gentle shake. Soften the ankles, soften the muscle tissue as you can. And then see if you can tune in and notice that vibration in the breath here. Awesome. One more shake of that leg. And then when you're ready, release that foot down to the ground. Come back to constructive rest. Step your feet to the outer edges of your mat. Let your knees drop in towards each other. Rearrange your shoulder blades, rearrange your tailbone. Pause in that constructive rest for a moment and just notice. Where would be your body's best Shavasana? Would it feel good to stay here? Would it feel good to take reclined cobbler's pose, or would it feel good to walk the legs long, or flip onto one side, or roll over onto a sideline position? So anything that might feel good to you. And then especially if you're in a cold room, maybe take a second to put your blanket on or put your socks or your sweater on. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Gently wiggle the fingers and wiggle your toes. Maybe start to deepen your breath. And then invite some bigger movements in. Move the wrists, move your ankles, move your knees, move your elbows. And then if it feels really good to do so, take a big good morning stretch. Arms reach up and overhead, legs reach nice and long. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Take a nice big breath here. Fill your lungs up. And then as you exhale, soften into that position, and then we'll slowly roll to one side. So we're going to roll into a fetal position. So take your time as you roll to one side, rearrange your shoulders, rearrange your hips, do the thing. And then once you're there, pause for a moment. Let one hand rest on the ground. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then if you can, keeping your eyes closed here, lift yourself up into a seated position, keeping the eyes closed purely to pay attention to how your body feels as you move and readjust without being able to see what you're doing. And then as you find your way up to a comfortable seated position, so maybe Sukhasana or any other seat that feels really nice to you and lets you sit up nice and tall, still keeping your eyes closed if you can. Bring your palms together. We're going to fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. Still keeping the eyes closed if you can. So you're just tuning into sensation, noticing that warmth that's generated between the palms. Once you feel like you've got a nice bit of heat in the palms, release your hands around your knees. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Bring your palms back together, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. Eyes are still closed if you can, just so you can tune in and pay attention to sensation here. Once you feel like you've got a good bit of heat in those palms, hands are going to find the hip bones. Close your eyes down, take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Keeping the eyes closed if you can. Bring those palms back together one last time. Fire up the palms, get them nice and good and hot. And then we're going to give ourselves a little hug here. So once you feel like your hands are nice and good and hot, you're just going to wrap them around, catch hold of your shoulders, let your shoulders soften down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Give yourself a light little squeeze. And then when you're ready, release your hands to heart center and Anjali Mudra. So prayer hands together at that heart center, elbows nice and wide and active. So think about pushing into the palms, feeling that little bit of warmth between the space in your palms, and then bow your head to your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. And you breathe in a little extra love and gratitude for the strength that your body provides for you. And when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you, you beautiful people.